See what happens when a military vet discovers a whole new world of podcasting and all. Wait. Am I reading this right? They give a military vet his own podcast show? No, who in the world thought that was a... Oh, crap, we're still recording. Right. See what happens when a military vet discovers a whole new world of podcasting in the all-new The Birdman Show. Yo, for real, please. Edit that out, man. I need this job. And somebody call my agent. Yo, what is up, everybody? How you doing? You know who I am. I'm the Birdman. This is the Birdman Show. So go ahead and do it with me one time. That is right. We are here on the Birdman Show. It's another beautiful day, and I'm very excited for this episode for a couple of different reasons. One of the main reasons I'm excited for this show, because once again, I'm back with my co-host, Ace, in the house. Ace, how you doing?
I'm actually feeling pretty good. I mean, I went and got my shot. Got some really, but it might just be wishful thinking. So I mean, we'll find out better. But I'm pretty jumping.
Oh, I am too. And
for sure.
We have the lovely Brittany back with us. Brittany has been on the Birdman Show a couple times. She was on with the Mandela Effect, which I'm still haven't really forgiven her for that. I'm getting a little bit better about it. I still just haven't really forgiven you about it. But anyways, she brought us the Mandela Effect. That was a mind blowing 2-part series that we did with that one. And then Brittany also, along with myself and Ace and others, joined us on the Real Talk discussion panel about relationships, which that was a lot of fun. Like I said, it was eye opening for me. I'm only going to speak for me and myself. It was eye opening. I appreciated it. Appreciated all you guys. But we have Britt back for this episode. Britt, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good. Oh, that's right. You just got off work. Yeah. Gotta love that. Off work to go do some fun stuff, though.
Yeah.
I know, right? Okay, cool. Well, before we get started, here's the other reason why I'm excited about this episode, because we are now on a new platform, Squadcast, powered by Descript, and here's a word from them. Actually, it's a word from me, but it's about them. Hey, it's the Birdman here. And if you've ever thought about starting your own podcast, let me tell you about Squadcast, powered by Descript. Squadcast and Descript have joined forces. With Squadcast, you can create high-quality audio and video content with their in-browser software for premium recordings and autosave with cloud storage. You get superior listening experiences, crystal clear audio. You can eliminate auto drift and stop worrying about connectivity. Just to name a few. And with Descript's simple but powerful editing software, you can easily get down to making a great podcast. So head on over to squadcast.fm or descript.com and sign up for your free account and get started today. And tell them the Birdman sent you. That is right. We're on a new platform and we're doing the thing. So let's not delay. Okay. Now this episode, we're going to be talking about the real life Gone Girl. Okay. Now, to give a little bit of background on this case in particular, there's a few things that were going on around this time. Probably about a year prior to this case, a famous movie came out with Ben Affleck. I can never remember the female actress' name. Did somebody, who's the female actress in that movie? Does anybody know that offhand?
You mean the Ben Affleck movie?
Yeah. You remember who the female actress was?
I do not.
Yeah, I can't either. I could see her face. I just can't remember her name. I know Ace is probably looking that up for me right now, but Gone Girl was the movie that came out. I know I see him down there. He's just typing away. You know what I'm saying? Looking like Tony Stark over there. Tony Stark over there, typing away on some gadgets. But anyways, Gone Girl had came out, and it was a great movie. What'd you say, Ace?
Rosamund.
Okay, there you go. There it is. Or I could have just told everybody to look it up themselves. But anyways, but it was actually a really good movie. If you haven't seen the movie, I suggest checking it out. It's actually a pretty good movie. An interesting movie. I will definitely say that. It was a very interesting movie. But that movie came out, and this case had started to kind of get that vibe from it. As you'll see, and for those who will be listening to this later on Spotify, you'll hear as we talk about this case, you can kind of see, well, I guess you can say some similarities as far as whatever, but it's wild. The story that is told with this case is freaking unbelievable. Britt, what are some of your thoughts before we get into it? What are some of your thoughts when you first heard about this case? You started doing your research on it, and you started trying to make sense of it. What were some of your first thoughts when you heard about this?
Can we mention the show names before I say it?
The show names?
Like a show name like from TV. I just want to make sure.
No, I didn't mention any. Only thing I mentioned was Gone Girl, the movie. That was the only thing. There was a show.
No, I was saying. Here, I'll just say it. I literally felt like I was watching one of the episodes off of a show called The Blacklist.
Oh, okay. Oh, show names. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, yeah, because I didn't. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. So you're watching. You think you're watching Blacklist?
Like the twist that it had, it was crazy. Like I do agree, it's far fetched, but it happens, I guess.
Yeah, I'm definitely right there with you. Yeah, because like I said, I came across the I remember vaguely hearing about it, 'cause this happened in 2015. And I'll get a little bit more into that, but this happened in 2015. I vaguely remember hearing about it, but then when I was, like I said, I was sitting here scrolling through Netflix just looking for something to put on, because I was actually doing something on my MacBook, and so I was like, I'm just gonna put something on so to have something in the background, no big deal, whatever. And came across that, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll check it out, because I didn't know what it was, honestly. Without seeing it, I seen American Nightmare, so I'm thinking, oh, this could be a thriller or something like that, and then it's this documentary, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And so then they start playing it, and I'm sitting here typing, and I'm like, what? and then next thing I know, my MacBook's closed, sitting beside me on the couch, and I'm just enthralled with this series. And I think it was what, 4 parts? I think it was 3 parts. 3. So yeah, I'm sitting there. I watched all of them that night, and I was supposed to be going to bed early. Didn't happen. So Ace, same question to you, man. When Britt brought this to us, and you started to kind of look at it. And I know because you sent me a message a couple days ago, because you got a chance to watch it on Netflix, and the message, and I quote, "Oh, this is going to be interesting." So, what were your thoughts when you first finally got to watch the Netflix series, and then kind of looking into it a little bit more?
Whenever I first watched the series, I swore up and down she. I mean, from I was like, no. Especially the way that she described how she was treated, and the things that happened, how they happened. I was like, she fucking did. I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but that was my instinct whenever I started watching.
Yeah. And the thing is like to go to piggyback on what both of y'all just said. First of all, start with Britt. You know, when she said, you know, with the twists and turns and everything that's going on with it, like I'm literally like I've watched a lot of true crime stuff. You know, Ace and I we've talked about this stuff, and you know, and I watch all the murder mysteries type stuff. And you start when you start watching something, you start already formulating what's going on, who did what. You know what I'm saying? It's not always the butler. Okay, it's not always the gardener. All right, stop blaming the cook so much. They're cooking your food. Okay, sometimes it's just people just being crazy. All right, and so I'm thinking, you know, when they started off, you know, and I was like, oh yeah, the boyfriend definitely did it. But then you've watched enough to where you see if they show the person that's accused and they're wearing regular street clothes, obviously they didn't do it. Because if it was, they'd be still wearing prison clothes. You know what I'm saying? So it sometimes so I see that you know, the boyfriend comes up and we're getting his name and everything else in here in a little bit. And I'm thinking, okay, so he didn't do it. Okay, so who in the world did it? And then I start really thinking about the Gone Girl movie, and I'm like, man, don't tell me. So now I'm totally invested in it. And, you know what I'm saying? Like Ace said, you know, it's just, you know what? I just don't have any words. So, you know what? Let's just get into this. All right. So I'm going to paint you a little picture, okay? Let's say, you know, you're out there, especially the ones in the studio audience, those who are going to be watching this later, and even those who are going to be listening to this later. Let's just say we're going to play a little role play. You are a police dispatcher, okay? You're working for 911. You're taking all the 911 calls. And roughly about almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you get a phone call from a gentleman. And he says, you do your job. Hey, it's 911. What is your emergency? And he says, my girlfriend was just kidnapped, or my girlfriend was kidnapped. Like, okay, so, you know, where was she kidnapped from? You know, from my house. Okay, well, how long ago was this? It was a few hours ago. Okay, first thing you're gonna be thinking, okay, why are you just now calling? Okay, and the dispatcher asked, hey, why are you just not calling? Well, because I was tied up. Like, well, when did you get untied? Well, a few hours ago. And now you're thinking, okay, why have you not called in sooner? Okay, so this is where it really starts to take a little bit of a turn. So, Britt, we're gonna start with you. Because like I said, since you really brought this to us, and I know you probably have a little bit more background on the stuff. Like I said, unfortunately, I lost my notes in a freak dog fighting accident. Not playing, I didn't. But so tell me, Britt, walk us through the first part of this story, the introduction. Talk to us a little bit about the boyfriend Aaron. What'd you say?
I can't interrupt.
I know, I love it. This is another great thing about this platform, guys. Ace can't interrupt me. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What'd you guys say?
What I was saying was this was a dog ate your homework.
Yes, 100%. Dog ate my homework. Yes, and he did not get a biscuit. Anyways, so Britt, walk us through the first part of this. Why don't you introduce us to our main characters within this story, and kind of walk us through the very first part of what's going on here.
Okay, so the main characters are Aaron, Quinn, and Denise. I meant to write her name down. It started with an H.
Huskins.
Yeah, Huskins.
Thank you. Yep. Denise Huskins. Those are the two main characters. But I also think, like, I would also kind of include, like, the ex-girlfriend, Andrea, because she, like, that was a big part of this, I would say. And you just want me to kind of, like, go down what happened?
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, like I said, introduce us to the main characters, and kind of talk, okay, basically from the 911 call up until they bring him in. and then we'll kind of jump off that, and we'll kind of give our opinions on what's going on with that.
Okay. So around, like you said, 2 in the afternoon, there was a 911 call made by Aaron himself. He claimed that he had been drugged with a concoction of NyQuil and some sort of diazepam. Um, the abduction happened roughly around 3 o'clock in the morning. What he, oh wait, that's not the 911 call. Okay. Um, I mean, even from the get go, the 911 operator sounded suspicious. Like, you said, until he comes in.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, they end up getting police out there. Basically, what he stated was she had been kidnapped. He hadn't, like, he ended up waking up, I think, somewhere around, what was it, 11:30 in the morning, before he
Yes, I
made
believe
this
so.
911 call. Um, you know, like I said, he had been drugged on NyQuil and diazepam. Upon like looking around, he did notice that there was a camera that was in the house that was watching him. Was it a note that he found that said they would be in contact?
No, he had if I'm remembering this correctly, he
Text
told the
message.
police that the robbers kidnappers said that they would be in contact before they left. They said we would be in contact, and I guess why he after he woke up, so shortly after he woke up, he received an email. All right, and you're about right there. So continue on
Yes, he
if
receives a
you got
text
continue
message
on, or
or
we
email
good?
that was asking for, I do believe, fifteen thousand
Britt,
dollars.
Yes.
since you're not paying attention to chat, call.
What?
We
Your
can
volume's
barely.
really low. I sent you a message in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. It didn't even show up. Oh, there it is. I had. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, hey, it's cool. Hey, it's our first time with this platform. Okay, we're getting. Hey, I'm still learning everything, all the ins and outs with it. So it's our first time. It's all gravy, baby. We got nothing but we part of the Birdman crew. We the flock. You know what I'm saying? All we gotta do is fly, soar above the clouds, baby. So here, let's hit it.
um, let's see. So they asked for $15,000. He ended up sending them a message back, saying, "I can only get you like 35,000." From that point, like, he waits. I'm not sure of the actual length after the text message. It was over 15 minutes, I know that. And that's when he decided it was okay to go ahead and contact 911.
Mm, okay. Yeah, I will correct you on one thing. He said he was only going to be able to give 3,500.
Hmm.
You said 35,000.
Did I say 30? Sorry. Sorry. I meant 3,500 because it wasn't enough to cover that balance.
Yeah, right, right. And basically, what it was the fact that yes, they said $15,000. Now I'm going to back up a little bit before we go to Ace and get his opinion on this. Now, the crazy thing about this was okay. Like Britt was telling us, he stated that they were woken up in the middle of the night. He had a blinding light that was just flashing on. They couldn't see anything. He said he saw what he thought was three like laser pointers, like from a gun. And so that's why he thought there were multiple people in the room. And so next thing he knows, the person says Aaron, lie face down on the bed. And that's the one thing the police officer said. Hey, we called you by your name. He said, yeah. And so he had Denise put the zip ties on Aaron. Then made him drink potion, potion number 9. Um, yeah, I think it was a Bill Cosby special. Anyways, he had he had him drink drink a little loop de loo, and then he ended up telling him to lay face down back on the bed, and then he took Denise somewhere else. But the crazy thing was, this is what got me about it. This is where I started really thinking about stuff. Is because the one of the kidnappers end up taking him downstairs, putting him on the couch, and he comes back and says, "Okay, we have a problem." So this was meant for Andrea, not her. So that's when, like, you hear the suspenseful music playing in the background. You're like, oh, dun 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 dun. Then you got commercial break, and then Batman comes back with Robin, and the pang pam pow. Okay, sorry, wrong show. Anyways, so you're like, wait, who the heck is Andrea? That's when, like Britt said, it was his ex fiance. Now the crazy thing about it, him and his ex fiance had been broken up for what I think it was several months. It was months or whatever, but she had moved out a couple months prior to that, and now I was completely confused. I was like completely confused after that. Ace, when you were listening to that, plus with what you saw and the things that you were bringing in for the your part of the research, what were some of your thoughts? Hearing that up until that point, and then especially when he ended up saying that his ex fiance was supposedly the intended target.
Well, just like with the real moon, it plays right into it. I mean, holy hell, you're the echo. You're the cause of the echo. You muted and the echo went away.
I don't know. Can you still hear me?
Yes. And the echo.
Oh, I know what the problem was.
The echo's gone too.
Okay. I know what the problem was.
Awesome. All right. But up until that point, with them saying that it was a case of mistaken identity, they took her anyway just because they already started. Might as well finish the job. But with them saying that it was supposed to be intended for Andrea and not Denise, thank you. I've got so many. I've got like 2 cases ahead of what we're doing right now in my fucking head, and I'm getting names mixed up because I almost wanted to say Judy, and I know it's not Judy because that's a different case. But hey Britt. But with the everything lining up, it gave you the suspect that she set all this up, and she had herself kidnapped, making him believe that it was supposed to be for Andrea, and he took her anyway, even though he wasn't supposed to. And then the fuck?
Yeah, Brit. I think Brit's having a little issue with her internet. And I'd seen it. I didn't know if it was going to be an issue because it seemed like it was clearing up, but it kicked back. It kicked her out. So she'll get back in. You just continue. We'll go ahead.
Okay. Well, echoes back. Mute, please. Thank you. Now I can override him.
Not really.
Shit. All right, but I mean, up until about 3/4 of the way through the movie, or through the series, the 3-part series that I watched on Netflix, I was all about it being Denise. Denise did it. Denise did it. Denise did it. And then other things happened. I was like, I still want to believe it was her. Let it be her, because it just made it simpler. But we'll get into all that whenever we get further on into the storyline and everything. But up until this point right here, it was very confusing on how you could not know who you're supposed to be kidnapping. I mean, yeah, you check. You know exactly who lives there because you did your research. You know their parents. You know their family. You obviously didn't realize that he started seeing somebody else because apparently he was still receiving mail for Andrea at his address because he made comment that he checked the mail a couple weeks before he did the kidnapping and there was still mail in there for Andrea. So the one thing that oh no, I can't say that yet because that's brought up later on. All right, Birdman, back to you.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm with you because you don't want to start talking too much because they're like, I know we're going to talk about this later, but oh my god, this case. This is what this case really does to me when I'm really thinking about this stuff. Um, there's so much, and like I said, even if even with what we're trying to do, we're talking about this case, explaining some of the things. I still recommend watching the series on Netflix. And Netflix, once again, if you want to sponsor the Birdman Show, please reach out. Just go to tbs.birdman@gmail.com to contact us. Okay, we got Britt back. Outstanding. You good now?
Yeah, my mic went off, and then everything just froze, so I backed out, and of course, my email had to be updating before I could get the link. Sorry, what'd I miss?
Listen, that's the beauty about showbiz. Okay, there's things that happen. You know what I'm saying? You just got to keep rolling with it. You're doing a great job. Keep your chin up, champ. But no, this case is freaking. It infuriates me. And when I say it infuriates me, it's more towards what we're going to get into when we get ready to talk about the how the police handled this. I look. Let me tell everybody something. Okay, let me tell you something in America. Here's I don't. And okay, here's what I'm gonna say. Okay, I 100% believe in our law. Okay, I believe in the police. I believe in the judicial system, even though a lot of times it hasn't worked in my favor. Being a father, being a black man, a lot of times it hasn't worked in my favor. I still believe in it. I joined the United States military. I fought for these freedoms that we honestly take for granted most days. But when it comes to the law, I fought for that. So I believe in it. I do believe there's a lot more good cops than there are bad cops. Unfortunately, the bad cops are not smart enough to stay off of social media and stop messing with people that actually have phones, so they get blasted out on the internet all the time. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? People say, I don't trust the police, this and that. I understand it. I feel where you're coming from. But this case, unfortunately, reinforces a lot of the reasons why people don't trust the police. It's an unbelievable shame what and how the police handled this situation. It's just unbelievably, like, I get it. Guy comes in with this crazy story about 3 guys coming into the house, breaking into the house. One thing we didn't say, but they said that they were wearing wetsuits. They covered their faces up with blacked out goggles. Then they put headphones on you that were playing either music, or in Aaron's case, he said they were playing wind. It had like wind chimes or something going off. I get it. It's not something you hear every day. Okay, not in the law enforcement world. Okay, now that'd be something in the military world. I could sit there and say, yeah, okay, I can actually see that especially if they happen to be military, which we'll get into. But yeah, I can see that. But this case, I'm telling you, nothing about it makes sense. Nothing. There's not a single part of it that makes any type of sense whatsoever. And that's what's crazy to me about it. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, so we're gonna make sure Britt has gotten her stuff good to go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna get a little bit more into this. But like I said, Britt, you keep working on it. You're doing great. You're doing great. Great. All right. So, all right. So we'll be right back with more Birdman Show after this.
Hi, I'm going to tell you about Dubby energy drinks. Dubby is an energy drink you mix at home. No jitters, no crash. Dubby is formulated to give you focus and energy. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented Nuofactor. No calories, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors. So if you need something to give you energy to take on the whole world, Dubby Energy is what you need. Go to dubby.gg. That's DUBBY.GG. Use promo code Birdman Show for 10% off your orders, and tell them the Birdman sent you.
Oh, what? You know I can sing? Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that. Yo, this is not what this is. This ain't no concert. It's the Birdman Show. Go ahead and do it with me one time. That is right. Y'all really thought I was about to really bust something out, didn't y'all? Nah, we ain't doing that here. But you can catch my mixtape on Underground Music. No, I'm playing. It is the Birdman. We are back on the Birdman Show. We are talking about the real life Gone Girl case with Denise Huskins, and it's crazy. In all intents and purposes, crazy. You can't make this stuff up. If you could, you'd probably be one heck of a movie producer. So to back up a little bit, real quick, let's give me a summary. Ace, in your words, give me a summary of where we're at, and what you think so far with the case.
Where we're at?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was looking at the comments.
You got to mute. You got to mute.
Oh yeah.
Echo.
My bad.
All right. Where we're at right now is we're in Denise Huskins' mind, because she's been kidnapped. She planned it all. No, I'm joking. Denise Huskins has been kidnapped. They're 100% in belief that Aaron's the one that did it. We'll get to that as we progress with the story, but my belief, like I said from the beginning, and I'll stand by it, up until about 3/4 of the way through that documentary, I was full-fledged behind the fact that Denise set this up. She planned it. She orchestrated it. That's just the way that I felt watching the documentary series. And then I watched it. I watched the third part again today, just to refresh my memory on some of the things that we were going to talk about today. And she was wrongfully accused. I get that. So was Aaron. And they get their justice. Back to you, Birdman.
Yes, it kind of helps unmute myself. That part I'm gonna have to get used to. But yeah, no, yeah, I'm right there with you. That this just really, it's messed up. I mean, it's just messed up. Honestly, from start to finish, it's just really messed up. Britt, same thing. Your little brief summary, and how you feel so far in this point in time. We're at the stage of this case.
I mean, up, right around the 911 call, I would have to agree with Ace. It did sound very outlandish. Um, like I said, something that you would see out of an episode of The Blacklist. So until we get very much further, I mean, I've got a lot to say about it, but I don't want to jump ahead.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. I get it. Like I said, like I told Ace, you start talking about this, and like I said, I can't state it enough. I just cannot state this enough. Watching that series on American Nightmare, this case will be one of those cases where you sit there, and if it gets brought up or you bring it up somewhere, it's something that could take. You can end up spending anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours just talking about it. It's just that crazy. So oh my god, I get it. Trust me. Sometimes you start talking like, oh, I don't want to jump ahead. I don't want to jump ahead. So I get it. It's okay. Don't apologize because I know I'm going to be doing it a lot myself. Okay, so right now where we're at, basically, Aaron, and his name was Aaron Quinn. He has called the cops because his girlfriend was just kidnapped. Well, not just kidnapped. She was kidnapped the night before, or actually earlier that morning. Kidnapped, taken from the house. He was zip tied. He was drugged. And when he woke up the next morning or earlier, a few hours later, whatever, he wakes up. He's on his couch. His phone's on the coffee table. And you see, and like I said in the documentary, you can see that there's red tape on the throw rug that's right there in the living room. And he was instructed not to leave. Well, really wasn't instructed, but they had the red tape. They said they were going to be watching him. He looks up. There's a camera mounted in the corner, up in the corner of the room. So he's still trying to come out. And understand something. And this is what this. I've seen comments from people when it comes to this case, and they're talking about, oh, well, why didn't he call? Well, you got to understand something. He was under a heavy sedative. So he's still trying to come out of that. He's still trying to make sense of what just happened. Because I guarantee you, most people out there in America, like I can say I'm a little different only because of my time in the military. And they do prepare you for certain type of things. And then what happens from there, well, what happens with me is because of where my mind works, I expand on that. So I think there's a possibility of Armageddon anytime I wake up, you know what I'm saying, or anytime I go somewhere. I think there's a possibility of something like, like Britt mentioned earlier, the Blacklist. If you haven't seen the series Rabbit Hole on Paramount, my mind now works to think that any like that stuff like that can happen. Like I could be Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible. At some point in time, the government contacts me, tells me they need me to go do something. That's how my mind works now. Okay, but for most Americans, that's not how your mind works. So you have no idea 100% definitively how you would react in a situation like that. If someone comes in and kidnaps one of your loved ones and tells you not to call the police, we'll be in contact with you. What are you going to do? You're going to do everything that person tells you to do to try to get your loved one back. They're asking for money. You're going to give them money. They're asking for whatever. You're going to give them whatever it takes to get your loved one back. And this is what's going through Aaron's mind as he's still trying to come out of all this, out of the sedatives that he was on. So he gets contacted, gets the email. Kidnapper says, "Hey, it's going to be $15,000." He calls Chase Bank, asks how much he can get advanced. They tell him, "Hey, you can only get about $3,500." He emails the kidnappers back and says, "Hey, I can only give you $3,500." Then he doesn't hear from him. So now he's pacing. He's like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? 5 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by. However long it goes by, he's thinking to himself, like, okay, I haven't heard anything. Now he's thinking, how long does she have? I can't give them the money that they're asking for. What do I do next? So what does he do? He says, you know what? I've got to call the police. I trust the police. I believe the police are going to do whatever it takes to help me get my girlfriend back. So he called. They show up. You know what I'm saying? They're going around the house. They're clearing the house out. You know what I'm saying? Clearing all the rooms out. They're doing all this stuff. You know, all the cool stuff you see in the movies. They're doing all that stuff. And then they start questioning him. They start asking him, well, have you ever been on drugs? You know, how much did you guys drink? Yeah, because they saw that there was empty beer cans and they saw the wine glasses. Now here's the thing: they saw 2 glasses, but there was a 3rd glass. So then they start asking, "Well, you guys have a party?" He's like, "No." He's like, I just hadn't taken the trash out. You know, that's why those empty beer cans and all that other stuff was in there. I just hadn't taken the trash out. But they saw these. Like, they're thinking, well, you know what? They probably had a party. They got too drunk. You know what I'm saying? Maybe something happened. She left, whatever this is now. They bring him into the police station. And they question this man for over 18 hours. 18 hours. They swabbed him. They took blood. You know what I'm saying? They made him take his clothes off. They put him in, what, AC? What we got, Ace?
They didn't take blood. He volunteered to do a blood test.
Yeah, I mean, what I meant when they said they took blood, Jesus, you act like they were vampires or something. They just bit the dude's neck or something. I mean, come on now, jeez, Jim Christmas. Anyways, he volunteered to give up his blood. And, you know what I'm saying? They swabbed him. Okay, so he's 100% cooperating, but the whole time they treated this man as he was a suspect. Now I get it. As law enforcement, the first thing that they always look, the first person they look at is either the boyfriend or the spouse. You know, say if it's the woman's the victim, if the man's the victim, they always look at the wife or girlfriend first. Okay, you clear out, you clear the names of the people that are involved or that could be directly involved first, and then you work from there. I get that part, but what irritates me beyond belief, they never once got off of looking at Aaron. And then once the case evolves, the next person they're looking at is even crazier to me when it comes to all this. Like they never once even took the time to check other law enforcement agencies to see if there was anything similar. That's what really irritates me. They did nothing. And when people were bringing them evidence, because we're going to talk about somebody else, and I'll bring his name up now. When this person was bringing them evidence, they did nothing with it. And this person I'm talking about is, I think his name is, Henry Lee. Now, Henry Lee is a journalist. He works for the San Francisco Chronicle. Okay. Now, Henry's name is important. He's an important person because the kidnappers started contacting him. Now, there's a key part that happens here. So now all of a sudden, the news is picking it up about what happened to Denise. It started to become big news. Another big name that comes into place. Well, before that, let me talk about this name because this guy's a piece of crap, and I really want to talk about him. And that's Detective Matt Mustard. Now, as far as I know, I'm not 100% sure. I don't even think I think he's since not even working for the police department in Vallejo. This all happened in Vallejo, by the way. Mirror Island, Vallejo, California. And as far as I know, him and his lieutenant are no longer with the police department. Shortly after this, I think they resigned, and I don't even know if they're even working in law enforcement anywhere. They shouldn't be. I hope, pray to God, that no one hired them ever again. But Matt Mustard was the detective that was questioning Aaron. And at no point in time did he ever believe Aaron. He sit there and lied to him. He sit there, he did all this other stuff. What do you got, Ace?
In 2015, the year that this happened, he was given Policeman of the Year. In 2019, he was promoted to sergeant, and it is believed that he is still employed by the Vallejo Police Department.
So, okay, that's going to have to be a separate episode. And the reason why I say that is because too often, and I'll say this, and I'm definitely quickly moving on. Too often, officers, and this is why there's so much. This is why there's an uproar in America right now. Officers who conduct themselves in a unprofessional and honestly, in most cases, inhumane manner get promoted. They get a pat on the back. They get a medal. There's never an apology. There's never anything that goes on that helps these families that try to recover from what they've done to them, and they get promoted. And then I see some of these officers that get on on YouTube or whatever their platform is, and well, we're just out here doing the best. Yes, I get that, but you got to understand, just like in relationships, if you're not holding your partner accountable, then that bad behavior continues to get bad. It gets worse. And to the point where the only time that those officers really truly get anything they deserve is when they actually have to kill somebody. When they've killed somebody because their behavior gone unchecked, then now all of a sudden they're like, oh, we got to do the right thing. No, you should have done the right thing back then. I'm done off my soapbox. Let's move forward. Like I said, that's a completely different episode. We're not going to get into that right now. So I'm upset with you, Ace, for bringing that up. Anyways. Jerk. But okay, so now let's talk about, okay, let's break this back a little bit, dissect a little bit more. Okay, like I said, so Henry Lee, who's a reporter for the San Francisco Chronicle, starts receiving emails, and he's just a little confused because he's trying to follow the story. He's doing all the research. He's looked up Denise. He's looked up Aaron. He's looking up all this stuff. He's trying to figure out, okay, why did he wait so long? What's going on? About that time, Lieutenant Kenny Park, who was with the Vallejo PD. I don't know if he's still there or not. I'm pretty sure Ace is going to probably freaking tell me to make me more upset. I think he's looking it up. Yeah, he's probably looking. He is. Oh God! Please don't tell me he's still there. He's captain? What is he? Police commissioner now? Is he Commissioner Gordon? Is he? Did they move him to Gotham? Did they? I don't know. They probably should have. Anyways, these idiots who are heading the investigation, he gets on there. He comes on. They do a press conference. They start talking about Denise Huskins, how Aaron has come in and how they're trying to work with him to find out what's going on. Meanwhile, the police are still, Detective Mustard is still questioning Aaron. And he's like, look, we just need to find out, where she's at and what happened to her. And Aaron is like, I don't know. Okay. Now, during this process, and we mentioned her just briefly, we're going to talk about her a little bit more. Andrea, which is Aaron's ex-fiance. Okay. Now, the reason why they broke up, because, well, surprise, she cheated on him before they got married. Okay. Well, actually, no, they didn't get married. I'm sorry. I take that back. While they were still engaged. So they end up breaking up. Now, the crazy thing about it, now this is where this part right here is what really got me about the whole case, is because you have Aaron, you have Denise, you have Andrew, right? You got a love triangle, you think, right? That's what you're thinking. You got a love triangle, right? Not only that, they all worked at the same place. They worked, I can't remember the name of the hospital. I think it was Flagship. I think it was Flagship Hospital, the physical therapy department there. They all worked in the same freaking, not just the same build, the same department. They all work together. And so now that's when I go back to where Ace was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? If this is supposed to be for Andrea, you know, then maybe Denise is behind all this. Maybe she was just the scorned lover that, you know, just said, you know what? I watched that movie Gone Girl. Ben Affleck did a phenomenal job in that movie. I don't know what the female's actress name was, but she did a great job in that movie. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get the same result. I'm gonna say I was kidnapped. Of course, in the movie, she basically tried to frame Ben Affleck for murder. But this time, I'm just gonna say I got kidnapped, and then I'm gonna come back, and he's gonna hold me with open arms, and we're gonna be happily ever after. Yeah, that's not what this happened. Okay, so I just brought in Mr. Kenny Park. Okay, I just brought in Mr. Henry Lee. Brett, can you tell us a little bit more about Mr. Kenny Park, Mr. Henry Lee, and even a little bit about Mr. Matt? I was going to say something, and I don't want to do it. And Detective Matt Mustard, as far as their part playing into this whole entire crazy case.
Okay. So Matt Mustard. Hold on one second. I'm looking through. Okay.
Hey, Brett.
Yes.
I don't mean to cut you off. However, we're having a really tough time hearing you. So I know you were using AirPods earlier, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have no wired headphones whatsoever.
Wired?
Yeah.
No.
You know, like the. I know you got an iPhone, right?
Yes.
You don't have the
use
wired
my
earphones for those.
I just
Huh?
normally don't use it because my left one was dying. So I can put my right one in. Will that mess the feed up?
I don't know. I will say this, and I'm gonna say this to everybody, future guests. For this platform, it is most definitely recommended wired headphones of some kind. And that maybe this is the reason why. I don't know. And that's, you know what, I will take the hit for that. I should have made sure to let you know that beforehand. So I'll take the hit for that. Okay. So for America out there, please forgive me. Okay. Please forgive me for not telling this young lady that she needed to make sure she had wired headphones. Okay. So I'll take the hit for that. Is your volume all the way up on your phone?
Yes. Let me
Okay.
just double check.
So I don't know. So I'm assuming because you don't have the wired headphones, maybe that's the issue. Go ahead and try to use the earbud, the right one. If your left one's dying, I guess keep the left one in the case so that way it charges. And then if you have to switch out. I don't know. But let's I tell you what. While you're doing that, let's go to Ace. And we'll let you get that taken care of, and we'll come back to you. So Ace, what information do you have on? Because I know you talked to us a little bit about Detective Mustard. What do you have any information on Mr. Kenny Park, Lieutenant Kenny Park? We'll go ahead and get a little bit. Just get a little bit. Just put the tip in.
Just a tip. Just a tip. All right, Kenny Parks. That was the name of the guy that they were looking for in Fast and Furious. Wasn't it? No, I'm joking. Well, I'm not really joking. It was something Parks. But Kenny Parks was the lieutenant who was the spokesperson for the Vallejo Police Department. Rumor has it that his captain is the one that gave him the order to burn that bitch whenever he went out there to make his public statement that called her and Aaron liars and that they owed the community an apology for fabricating everything that took place. Now, Matt, the the short stacked mustard with the revolver in the interrogation room. He's a prick. I mean, straightforward. He's a prick. For him, I mean, it all started with him. He was the one that interrogated Aaron. It all started with him. They took what he had to say and ran with it. In his interrogation, he looked at Aaron and said, I'm a puzzle maker. It's my job to put puzzles together. And I'm just trying to figure out how I can make you look like a monster. I mean, that right there in a nutshell tells you that he's not even interested in looking in any other direction. He basically wants to burn this guy at the stake. And he's holding the fucking torch.
Now I want to let you continue, but I want to say something because when I saw the interview and basically and especially with what Ace just said, I don't. I'm trying to figure out a way to how to say this without it making it sound, like I'm getting on a soapbox for racism and anything like that. But if you watch that interview, 99.9999% of the time, when it comes to, are you doing acrobatics over there? What's going on? Oh, she's having issues again. So probably because she did the headphone thing that kicked her off. Okay, but 99.99% of the time, when it comes to people of color, I'm not just talking about black people, just people of color, or sometimes even with white people who are not the privileged type, that are in the lower class. Those are the type of interviews you see. Those are the type of interviews you see, where the police are just like, "Hey, look, you're the one we're looking at. You're the one that we're gonna go after," and so they do whatever they can to make sure they can get that. Okay, properly, contrary to belief, whatever, all the other stuff you want to think about, the police lie to you all the time. When it comes to interviews, when it comes to anything else, they lie all the time. That's why I'm getting on my soapbox right now, and I'm telling people, when it comes to your rights and everything else, know your rights. Traffic stops, know the actual rights, know the law, because they will lie no matter what. And it's against the law for them to lie like that, but they can still lie. All right, so like I said, when I watched this interview, that the interrogation they were doing to this dude, I just wanted to just jump up and say Wakanda forever. You know what I'm saying? I just really wanted to be like, hey, brother, I'm with you. Okay? All right? We in this together, brother. I'm about to call the NCAAPV. Hey, I'm about to call all of them. I'm about to call Jesse Jackson. Okay? I'm about to call Farrakhan. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to call all the correlations of Africa. We about to come together. We got your back, brother. And I'm like, wait a minute, this white dude, but hey, you know what? I got you, brother. And so I felt him. I literally found myself tearing up. Watching this interrogation, hearing this man when they were interviewing him, for the show, and watching his face as he's like, I didn't know what else to do. I'm coming to them for help. And they're treating me as the criminal. And throughout the entirety of this, until the very end, they treated me like a criminal. And not once, even after they found out everything that happened, after all the evidence was presented, not once did he get an apology. I felt for that man. I didn't see color at that point in time. All I saw was that man was violated. And he felt even worse because he couldn't do anything for his woman. Denise was taken. And he couldn't do anything. The only thing he knew what to do was to make sure he was there for her. Make sure she knew that he was not going to leave her. And at that point in time, man, like there were times watching this, I closed my eyes and just listened, and I didn't see or hear. All I felt was pain. I felt that man's pain. I felt her pain. I'm I'm telling you, this case, man, it had me feeling some type of way. I was definitely in my feels when it came to this case. Wow. Um, okay, so Ace, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off on that. Please, sir, continue. Hopefully, you remember where you're at, because I know sometimes you scroll, and if we kind of get off things, then you don't remember. Are you good? Okay, good. Please please continue. I'm sorry.
Now, we were talking about Wakanda Forever, right? And it is hell, I forgot what you said that I was going to correct you on. See, I squirreled on that. I ain't worried about bringing it around the block. Yeah, Tyler Perry for the win. But with Colonel Mustard, that's what I'm going to refer to him as Colonel Mustard. He may not be a colonel, but he's a fucking game piece in a game that's being played. And the game that's being played is against two people who had something horrific happen to them, and they are having their entire lives turned upside down because of the actions and demeanor of one officer. And this one officer, by giving his opinion, that's all it was his opinion on what happened, he got the rest of the force to believe him. Because, like Birdman said, nobody in that department thought to do investigative research to see if any kind of case like this had happened in any other surrounding areas. And the fucked up thing about it is the case that broke it happened after this one. Now, one thing that I did want to bring up from what we were talking about earlier, I actually listened to a podcast before I watched the series, and the podcast had details that were different than what was on the Netflix series. So if you're going to do research on this after you hear this, and you want to know exactly what happened, watch the Netflix series American Nightmare, because that is a documentary involving them with the details. Because some of the details that I got from the podcast was that he called his brother, who works for the FBI, before he called the cops to get insight on what he should do on the podcast. And it also said that he was supposed to transfer $8,500 from two different accounts, which adds up to $17,000, not $15,000. So, I mean, are the girls outside? Because there was somebody just walked by your damn window. I'm like, the fuck was that? But I mean, so I mean, if you want the actual details, the series that's on Netflix actually has them in it, so they can give the actual details, and it's not some spinoff of what this person said from this person that got it to this person that published it in the newspaper. So I mean, it just watch the series on Netflix, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. And if Netflix is listening to this and they want to sponsor the Birdman Show, come holler at your boy.
Hey, I'm glad you did it, because I was about to do it my damn self, boy. You know what I'm saying? I was about to say, hey, Netflix, man, we hollering, we in here, Netflix, so come on, Netflix, stop playing, come talk to me, okay? I just want maybe you ain't gotta give me free subscription, you know what I'm saying? $2, I only want to pay $2. Anyways, but no, seriously, no, Ace is 100% right. The documentary just, I mean, like I said, I've listened to a couple of podcasts like Ace was talking about, and the details from there to the actual documentary on Netflix are night and day. And the thing was, and we'll talk about the FBI. I want to talk. We will definitely talk about the FBI because what really irritated me about this was okay after the detective Mustnuts got through interrogating him. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Mustnuts. I meant mustard. Musty nut. Anyways, after he got to interrogate him, they had somebody from the FBI come down. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They had somebody from the FBI come down and actually do a lie detector test. Okay. Now, here's the crazy thing about it. This FBI agent, I can't remember his name, told Aaron he failed the lie detector miserably. Now, I will go ahead and say this. They found out later that was 100% false. I felt like it was like an episode of the Murray Show, okay, Maury Show. And our tests say that's 100% false. You know what I'm saying? You are not the daddy. Anyways, they come to find out it was false. He was being lied to from the time he stepped. Honestly, he was being lied to from the time that the police showed up to his house up until he got released. When he finally got a hold of a lawyer came in and got him. 18 hours he was being lied to that whole time. And the whole time, the only thing he was thinking about was, what is going on? Why aren't you guys going out to look for her? You know what I'm saying? The Detective Mustard was telling him, hey, we found blood in the house. Okay, we're not sure if it's yours. We're not sure if it's Denise's. We found blood in the house. Okay, the bedspread, the comforters were taken off of the bed. What would you think? What do you think? Why would somebody do that? The whole time they were painting it as if he was the one who was being guilty. Like I said, I get it. I understand. In those cases, majority of the time, it's usually the person that's the closest to that person is the one who's guilty. Okay, I get that part. But that doesn't excuse you from doing your actual job. Okay? If you're a detective, your job is to detect, investigate, which means you look at all avenues, all different courses that lead to different. If it leads back to the suspect, so be it. But if you've never even left the parking lot, then you can't sit there and say you've done your job 100%. Okay, whew, geez, baby Jesus. Look, we're gonna have to take another quick commercial break. Okay, we're gonna take another quick commercial break. We're gonna come back. Hopefully, try to make a little bit more sense of this thing. Because if not, I don't know. I just don't know. I might have to catch a flight to San Francisco, go find somebody. But we're gonna take another quick commercial break. We'll be back with more of the Birdman Show after these words from Spotify for podcasters. Hey, it's the Birdman here, and I have a question for you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? If so, have you heard about Spotify for podcasters and why it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place? Allow me to explain. Spotify for podcasters has the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone, tablet, or computer. And when hosting on Spotify for podcasters, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. It's really everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. And the best thing about it, it's totally free. So what are you waiting for? Go to podcasters.spotify.com to get started. And just tell them a little birdie told you. A Birdman, that is. Hey, yo, what is up, everybody? How you doing? This is a Birdman show. I'm the Birdman. Go ahead, do it with me one time. That is right. We are back on the Birdman show. We are talking about the real life Gone Girl, the case of Denise Huskins. I am joined with Ace, and we have the lovely Brittany Price join us again. Brittany, how you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Doing good? Your volume's still not doing good.
Huh? Sorry, I will do my best. Is that better?
Hey,
Wait,
Brett,
say that again.
try taking your earbuds out and just talking through the speaker on your phone.
That's what I'm doing right now. That's why I disconnected a minute ago. Because the first time I took my earbuds out, the second time I put them in, it lets me go like however minute, like 30 seconds to a minute, and then it just cuts everything off and I have to come back in.
Okay, you are actually louder now than what you were before.
That's because I'm speaking with purpose.
Why weren't you speaking with purpose before?
No. I have no idea.
Look. I'm laughing because what you said, it's like, I'm speaking with purpose. Oh my god, oh my god, that was freaking hilarious. Oh Jesus. Anyways, that's not what this show's about. We're talking about the real life Gone Girl. The case of these Huskins. And we've been talking about some crazy stuff going on with this case. Ace, how you feeling so far about the case?
I'm infuriated. This is some bullshit incorporated on some people that don't deserve it. Carry on, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I can't be mad about that. I agree as well. I think that there's a lot of injustice that goes along with this case. So I'm gonna ask you both this question. Okay, we'll start with Britt since she's speaking with purpose now. Um, Girl power, you go, queen. Anyways, um, when you start to really kind of dive into this case, and we talk about Detective Mustard, when we talk about Lieutenant Park, yeah, Lieutenant Park, and then when we start kind of diving in a little bit more into Andrea, who was the ex-fiance of Aaron, we find out that there's actually another connection because one of the other FBI agents that was coming in to question Aaron, Britt, what was this connection to the case?
If I remember right, oh my god, was he the brother?
No, he was dating.
He was okay.
He was dating Andrea.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, no, he was ex-boyfriend, wasn't he? Okay, yeah. The bobblehead right there is saying that yes, he was.
Um. See, that part I'm not.
You want me to carry it for you?
I knew Ace had some information. I didn't know if you had that same information or not. So I mean that's fine. We can go to Ace. Ace, you can carry that, and then what we'll do from that, Britt. What I want you to do is after Ace gets done, I want you to talk to us a little bit more about the proof of life. Don't look at me like that.
What? I'm sorry.
The proof of life.
Proof of life. Okay, I got it.
Okay. Hey, don't be looking at me like you just did. I absolutely had no idea what the heck I was talking about. Like, come on, woman, get it together. Ace, talk to us about FBI.
Hey, Britt, you good? I seen you look at Matt like that. Don't you look at my boy like that? All right, but anyway, lead. It's not that he was just any FBI agent. He was the lead FBI agent on this case, and that was Agent Sesma. Agent Sesma. Come to find out, somebody tipped Aaron off. No. Somebody tipped Henry. Was it Henry? Henry Lee? Somebody tipped Henry Lee off that Agent Sesma was an ex of Andrea's, which the fucked up thing about it is they tried to get him removed from the case because that is, for all intents and purposes, a blatant example of conflict of interest. You've got somebody who is a key role to a kidnapping, assault case where his ex-girlfriend was the target. And according to the authorities that were involved in this, there was nothing, what was the term that was used? Yes, unproblematic of his behavior. I don't give two flying fucks if he's unproblematic or not. Any law enforcement in the country has to remove somebody who is a conflict of interest with somebody in the investigation. He cannot be a part of that case. He has to remove himself, or he could face criminal charges himself. That's what I don't understand. Nothing happened to him either. Nothing happened to the officers that were involved. Nothing happened to the journalist that posted all this shit. Henry Lee. But yet here we still have a couple that are having their names dragged through the fucking mud. Babe. It picks up your voice. Do you hear her? Yes. That's how good this mic is. Love you, baby. But like she said, defamation of character. They drug their name through the mud, and everybody gets away scot-free.
Yeah, I mean, 100%, dude. I don't understand how that was able to, but like I said, it kind of goes with why people don't trust the police, why people don't trust the government. They don't trust the three letter agencies that are out there. They don't. When it comes to, now, I will say this: when it comes to Henry Lee, who was the journalist, like when I watched the documentary. Now I don't know if there's anything else that goes on with that. When I watched the documentary, he literally every time he got contacted or he did anything, he gave that information to the police. They 100% did nothing with it. They didn't care. They were solely focused on Aaron. They were solely focused on Denise. They didn't follow anything up. They didn't do anything. Now, the reason why that is such a big deal is because we're going to kind of fast forward a little bit. Like we talked about the proof of life. Well, we're about to talk about the proof of life. Sorry. And Henry Lee was emailed an audio clip, and in this audio clip, what do we find? and Britt's going to tell us what we found.
Okay, so yeah, it was about 30 hours ish, 31 hours after she had been abducted. There was an audio clip that was received, and it was actually Denise saying, you know, overall she was fine, but her demeanor was shocking to everybody because she was not like frightened. She didn't sound shaky. She was just calm in this audio, drugged. But basically, that's the proof of life. The lawyer got a hold of it and then immediately tried to get that sent over to the police that were involved. But like you stated, no matter what evidence was given to them, it was their fault no matter what. Let's see. Okay. What would you like to talk about next? Because that's the proof of life. I don't remember any other proof of life being given.
Got to unmute myself again. No, there wasn't any other proof of life. And like you said, he was sent that. Okay, and he forwarded that. He's like, hey, I don't know what to do with this. Let me send this to the PD. Let them know what's going on. They immediately contacted Denise's parents and Aaron, in which they brought them all in and had them listen to this, which they all confirmed that was 100% Denise. She gave details about her life that only she would know. Well, not only she would know, but definitely would know. She gave a current event, so that way they knew that she was still alive. It was an event that happened that same day that it was sent, and so they knew it was proof of life that she's still alive. Now, like I said, still even after all that, we're still kind of looking at Aaron, and trying to figure all that out. So this goes on, and then this very, very crazy thing happens. Okay, this very, very, very crazy thing happens, and we're going to fast forward a little bit to this part. There's a little place called Huntington Beach in California. Now that's roughly about 400 miles, I want to say, south of Vallejo. I want to say, if I'm correct. I'm seeing my co-hosts; they're all shaking their heads, looking like some bobblehead dolls, sitting on the dashboard of a lowrider. But but so in Huntington Beach, this very interesting thing happens, and that thing is Denise's dad receives a notification on his phone. Now, remind you, okay, not remind you, but kind of inform you. Denise's family lives in Huntington Beach. Okay, they have flown to Vallejo, California. Like I said, it's 400 miles away from Huntington Beach. While he's in Vallejo, he receives a notification on his phone. Her dad has a video camera, some similar to like ring camera, or some of those other things, that covers his property. He receives a notification of emotion. He goes, opens it up. He sees Denise walking up the street, walking up to his gate, opening the door, and going inside. Now, for most people thinking, okay, we're investing. Like Ace was talking about, earlier, when they was talking about the boyfriend, like, oh, I think Denise did this and that. And most other people were thinking, oh, the boyfriend definitely had something to do with it because he probably just killed her, dumped the body somewhere. They're all backing, Detective must not Yeah, must not know what the hell he's doing. I'm sorry, Detective Mustard. Yeah, I'm sorry. That must not. Sorry. Slip the tongue. Anyways, they're all backing that. You know, they're right there with the PD. Like, oh yeah, the FBI is saying, oh, this guy definitely did it. But here she is, walking up to the house, her dad's house, seemingly unharmed, seemingly unfazed, and she's walking up to the property. So the dad immediately calls and says, hey, I just got a notification. I am watching my daughter live walking up to my house. She's in Huntington Beach. And so they reach out to the Huntington Beach Police PD, and they immediately go to the house. They gather her because they got to try to figure out what the heck is going on. Ace, when you saw that moment on the documentary, and you're like, wait a minute, she's just walking up to the house like she just went around the corner to the gas station to grab a Slurpee. You know what I'm saying? And a payday. Speaking of which, that sounds really good. But anyways, she's just walking like she just went around the corner store and just grabbed something. What was going through your head, my good sir, when you saw that?
Well, that's another thing that was different between the documentary or the documentary and the podcast, is because in the podcast it said that she couldn't get into the house, so she went to a neighbor's house and asked the gardener if she could use the phone. Neither here nor there. But whenever I saw her, everybody criticizes her mannerism whenever she's walking up to the house. What they're not taking into consideration is he drugged her again before he put her in the car to head to Huntington Beach. So here she is coming down off of the NyQuil and diazepam concoction that he just fed her. She got dropped off, told to keep the blindfold on for 10 seconds after she hears the car pull away, and then she could open her eyes and figure out where she's at. She didn't know where she was until she took her blindfold off. And then she started walking, and she's like, oh, I know this road. It's a road that she's been down 100 times in her lifetime. So she starts walking, she goes around the corner, and she sees her dad's house. So of course she's going to know where she's at. But she's like we said, she's still coming down off of that drug concoction that she had forced down her esophagus. Well, I guess it wouldn't be her esophagus, it'd be her throat. Whatever. But I mean, they can't sit there and say, well, she's not acting right because if she was kidnapped, she'd be walking with more haste and she'd be hysterical. No, she's fucking drugged, jackasses.
Look, I'm so glad you said that, Ace. I am so thankful. This is why I love you, brother, because we are so, and honestly, way too much alike. People, have you seen how people act off of Benadryl for the allergies? You know what I'm saying? Have you seen how people, you know what I'm saying? You talk to somebody like, oh, I just took a couple of tabs of Benadryl, and oh my god, that's just a lippy. And you know what I'm saying? And you just took two. Both of them are having to ingest a considerable quantity of some type of a sedative. Talking about two different types of sedatives. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, that's not something you just snap right out of. You know what I'm saying? She was woken up, blindfolded the whole time, woken up, and then said, get out of the car. Yeah, count to 10. After you hear the car drive away, count to 10. Then you can take your blindfold off and go somewhere. So first of all, so now she's not only she's still coming out of the being drugged, but she also has to readjust her eyes because now it's broad daylight, and she's had these goggles on, so now she's having to adjust her eyes. It's almost kind of like going to the eye doctor and they dilate your eyes. Okay, At some point in time, sometimes you can actually see fairly decent, but then once that sun hits you just right, oh, you're like, you can't see much of anything. And so, like, it's so crazy to me. And it just, even hearing some of the people talk about this, even on the documentary, and how they treated both of them, it's so amazing to me how quick some people are, how quick we are. And I'm not gonna say some people. I'm gonna include myself in this. How we're quick to judge how somebody should act or react in certain situations, knowing good and well, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that situation, if you're in that situation, you know, I'm not talking about y'all, I'm talking about, you know, I'm talking about those out in America that are watching this, that are judging. Um, but for those who, if you were in that situation, knowing good and well, you probably wouldn't even come close to be able to react the way that these two people react in this situation. So yeah, whatever. Okay, look here. Here's what I want to do. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Okay, we talked about Aaron. We talked about some of the stuff that's going on with that. We need to talk about Denise. Okay, we need to jump into what actually was going on her side after all this stuff took place. Okay, because if you watch the documentary, it's crazy. Like I said, the suspense builds up, and then next thing you know, they show Denise at the end of the second episode, and you're like, what? Because I'll be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie. I thought she was dead. I thought the girl was dead and gone. I started singing Justin Timberlake and T.I. Dead and Gone. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, I've been, yeah, I was just, yeah, I've been traveling on this road so long. I thought she was dead and gone. But she's not. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they show the video of her walking up to the house. You know what I'm saying? I thought she was dead and gone. Lo and behold, she's got 9 lives, and this kitty cat is still clawing. So she's alive. She's well. Well, I'm not gonna say she's well, but she's alive. She's walking up to the house. They see her. They go get her. Now we get to hear Denise's side. Okay, so Britt, I want you to talk to us about Denise's side. Okay, from the time that she gets kidnapped, where she's basically backing up the story that Matt has told. So from the time she gets kidnapped, up until the time she gets released. Okay. Ace just had. I don't know what's going on with Ace. Hold on a minute, Ace. What do you got? What's going on, brother? You look like you're about to die there.
You just said, let's get on to Denise. All right, Britt, let's get on to Denise. She's going to back up the same story that Matt just told.
I did.
Not Aaron. Matt.
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry, man. I'm still trying to back you up, brother, because I know sometimes Britt just be looking at you like you done robbed 5 liquor stores or something. So I completely apologize to Matt, and I apologize to Aaron. But Denise backed up Aaron's story that he told to the cops. So I want you to talk to us about, okay, from the time that they woke up and she got abducted. So go from there to roughly about the time up to the part where she finds out where she's, well, not really finds out, but she realizes kind of where she's at.
Okay, so when it clicks over to her, obviously she's been drugged. She's got the goggles that have been blackened out. She describes that when she was abducted, she was put into the trunk of a vehicle. Um, she does not know, like, where or how far they went, but she does describe, like, being on a highway. Once the car ride is over, she steps outside, can't see anything, but she can kind of see, like, it's definitely daylight out. She can hear nature, so she believes that she might be out on the countryside. He takes her in. She describes laying down on what feels like a concrete floor. While she's laying there, he says that he has to go finish getting ready for her. She can hear, like, in the distance, she can hear, like, cleaning sounds. She can hear duct tape. At that point in time, you know, the medicine really begins to kick in. She ends up going to sleep for a while. When she wakes up, obviously she doesn't know, like, what time it is or anything like that. But she can see, like, the light has changed, or it has shifted. So she thinks that it's been a couple hours. She distinctly remembers hearing, like, this French pop music playing. And then, you know, when he comes in, like, his demeanor, wait a second. Hold on, I missed it. Before she passes out, okay, before the medicine takes over, she is eventually led into a bedroom. Sorry about that. The abductor told her, you know, this was never meant for you. This was meant for Andrea. He explains to her that he is part of a black market company that kidnaps people for ransom. That, you know, after that, she ends up passing out. That's when she remembers waking up shortly later to the French pop music playing. She describes him when he comes back in as being, like, thoughtful and polite. And, just how he addresses her, like, she doesn't feel threatened, but she does, you know what I mean? Are you wanting me to continue past that point? I know you said up until a certain point, so...
No, you're doing fine. Keep going.
Okay.
You're doing fine.
Eventually he does, you know, leave, and he comes back in, and that's when he tells her, hey, we have a problem. You know, up until this point, you know, she was always told, that he would not do anything to dehumanize her, I do believe is the term that he used. Well, this is when he comes back in a short while later, and he tells her that they have a problem. There's no collateral. So without collateral, how do they know, you know, this company, how do they know that she's not going to go and talk to the police? So he says, one of us is going to have to sleep with you. And at that point in time, that was the first time she was essayed. I do believe she explains it as an out-of-body experience and what she was going through, and how she felt sorry for the person that she was seeing experience this. She said it, like, after everything was said and done, with all of that in place, she said she almost felt like his demeanor and what he was doing was he was conditioning her. He even asked her, I think this is that part. No, I think that's going to the next part. But that was the first time she was essayed. He does end up coming back in shortly after that, and he tells her that, you know, that video that he did, because he recorded the essay so that if she said anything, they would leak it out, like, on the internet. So with that being said, he comes back a short while after that and he says, sorry, that video wasn't good enough. You got to look like you're into it. So we need to redo this. And she was essayed again and made to actually participate this time.
Yeah, that stuff right there just, and what gets me is like even when I talk about it within the documentary, like he still made her have her eyes closed. So he took a surgical tape because it's clear, and he had it put over. He put that over her eyes, so basically she still couldn't see him. And yeah, made her go through that again. And like you said, the first time she just kind of detached herself from it. Just kind of, like you said, she was having an outer body experience. And that's how it really felt the second time. And what got me was she was like, yeah, he left the room. And when I took my blindfold off, there were 2 glasses of wine and like 2 little like small bottles, kind of like the like hotel or airplane bottles of liquor on there. And so she's like, she downed the 2 bottles of liquor and like the 1 glass of wine. And then he comes back in and makes a joke. Oh, you started without me. Like yeah. I just, there's so many parts. There's quite a few parts of this that makes me sick. Like I said, we talked about the police. That completely makes me. This part really makes me sick when it comes to stuff like that. And the crazy thing is, let's be honest. Let's just truly be honest, okay? If you can, do the best you can to just kind of put what you saw on the documentary out of your mind. For those who are in the audience, those who watch this later, if you haven't seen it, this should be very easy for you. Just imagine one of your best friends, male, female, doesn't matter. One of your male friends talking about something with his girlfriend. When your female friends telling you about what happened to her, if she tells you this exact same story about something that happened to her, this exact same type of story, honestly, would you believe her? Like, I already see it on Ace's face. You know what I'm saying? I can kind of see it on Britt's face. For me, just because I'm that guy where you can come tell me a story like that and I'll play along with it just because I just want to see how far it goes. But in the back of my mind, no, I wouldn't believe this. So what's crazy to me is that something like this could quite possibly, some idiot out there might hear about this case and say, oh, I might do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because who would believe it? Aaron went to the police. He begged for help, and they immediately thought he was the one that did this. They didn't believe his story. Detective Mustard even said, hey, look, this story sounds a little far-fetched. It just doesn't sound believable. So we need to know exactly what happened to her. You need to tell us what you did. Where's she at? I got to put the pieces together, and right now the pieces of this puzzle I'm putting together is trying to figure out how I can make you the biggest monster ever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the police don't even believe you. So who on earth, other than the 2 people that are involved in this and the person that's doing this, would believe this story or something like that? Because I can tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you, even after seeing this, I can't see it happening more than just this once. So if somebody actually decided to do it again, I'm like, you need to stop. First of all, you need to start watching movies. I know you saw Gone Girl, and I know you probably was on Netflix. You probably saw American Nightmare, and so now you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? Get some attention. Come on, you need to stop that. Who would believe it? Like, this whole case, this whole story is just, I don't know what to say about this thing anymore. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's dive into the simple fact that okay, like Britt was telling us, she went through the two occasions of where she ended up getting essayed, um, and she's having to deal with that. She's trying to be brave about that. During this time, her father has came to Vallejo, and as soon as he gets to the police station, reporters are right there, and they're asking him what's going on. You know, da da da. He sends out a public plea, and he's basically talking directly to his daughter, like, "Hey, look, the family's here for you. If you can hear this, if you see this, use this as strength, use this as motivation. Carry yourself through this. We're gonna be here." And the kidnapper comes in and shows her this, you know, and through this whole time, this is what I really like about Denise. Through this whole time, she has the mentality of, you're not going to break me. I'm going to make it through this. I'm going to survive. She has this unbelievable will to make it out of this. And she says, for the first time, after seeing that, was the first time she really, truly broke down. And that just, that crumpled a little, I'm not going to say a little, a good portion of my heart, that crumpled it. Because that hurt. That hurt to hear that. You know what I'm saying? That this woman is fighting for her life, you know, the best way she can. She's doing what she can, and she's trying to fight. And she hears that. The dude comes in and plays that. Like, for real, fam? Ace, what are your thoughts on that? I'm going to have you guys talk on that for a minute. I have to go. I got to handle this idiot, my dog, real quick, because she's about to irritate the crap out of me. So, yeah. Ace, what are your thoughts on that?
The fucked up thing about this situation with what she went through is when Aaron got arrested, he explained to the cops that the kidnapper was going to be contacting him through his phone, whether it be through text message or through email. Now, had they taken this threat as credible and did their jobs and followed up with what he was saying and monitored his phone instead of putting it on airplane mode and throwing it into evidence, actually monitored his phone, he would have noticed, or they would have noticed, that there was 2 missed calls that were traceable. And had they done their job and been monitoring his phone and traced those calls within 200 meters, 200 meters of where she was, and had they traced that and checked that location out, she would not have had to gone through that second essay. Just a heads up, we've got 15 minutes left.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I wanted to get to this part here, because you're 100% right. Had they just simply done their job, she never would have experienced that. She would have been, he would have been found. She could have been released. She would have been back with her family, and that never would have happened to her. It's I don't get too upset about a lot, because I do realize 100% that it's life. Life happens. Sometimes bad things happen to good people, and there's not much we can really do about that. Evil exists in the world. Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in the devil, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, evil is evil, no matter where it comes from. And evil is out there. And just to know that this young woman, she was roughly 29 years old when this happened. This, and the cool thing about, I will say this, I'll jump to this, ahead to this part. The great thing about this story is that Aaron was diligent about being there for Denise. They ended up getting married. Like I said, I'm gonna jump this part. They ended up getting married, and I believe they have 2 daughters. Ended up having 2 daughters, and they're a much stronger couple now, husband and wife, mother and father, and they've really made efforts to try to recover from this. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I just don't know. Um, this was a really tough one. Ace, go ahead.
If it were not for, was it Marie? Was that her name? Marie, the one that was in shit. Where was she from? Help. I don't know. But anyway, it was, what I don't understand is this, it was only 40 miles from Vallejo. And how she could not have known about this case is what baffled me. But they did get justice. They did see their day in court. They sued the city of Vallejo for defamation of character. And they ended up settling out of court because I guess they didn't want to be greedy, or they didn't want to take the chances of facing a jury that might side or be able to be swayed by the city officials. So they settled out of court for $2.5 million, which, it doesn't take away what happened to them, but it did give them a means to be able to start a new life together, to be able to move away from where it happened to a place where hopefully nobody knew about it, and they didn't get judged. She still gets hate mail on Facebook, which is what sucks, because even though the truth has come out, she still gets hate mail. Back to you, Birdman.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not 100% sure because they didn't really go into it in the documentary. But I don't honestly. I don't think it was ever about the money for them. I think they wanted the closure of it. I think that money was more so on the Vallejos, the city part, than it was them. Because honestly, I honestly believe if they had really went to court and they probably got more. Just because of the fact of they can completely trace everything back to the fact that the cops they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing in this investigation. I can't even call it an investigation. I mean, Blue's Clues. I've seen kids solve more freaking things with Blue's Clues than these idiots did with this. So I have to assume that most other cases they've had in that town during that time probably never got solved, and a lot of times they were being solved because the police department wasn't doing anything. You know what I'm saying? I found Waldo more times than these idiots found out what the hell was going on. You know what I'm saying? So I think the reason why they did that because they knew good and well if the investigation went on any further, that city was going to be out a lot of money. Vallejo Vallejo might have been called Huskins. I don't even think it would have been Vallejo anymore. Vallejo, the ho, whatever ho. It wouldn't have been called that anymore. All right. So I really think that was I think that amount was whatever. Because I mean, it's not like they were really hurting for money. They're both physical therapists, and that's a pretty good occupation going on right now. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Okay, first of all, I want to tell everybody. Now, what we talked about and what we touched on was honestly really just kind of the skim of everything. Yeah, without going into too many details. It's only about a 2-hour show, and it's kind of hard. I mean, hell, the Netflix thing was a 3-parter. So it's kind of hard to say we're gonna try to smash everything in 2 hours. But like I said, I do implore you to go check out that series. Because when you look at it, you have to start questioning a lot of things that goes on in society today. especially when it comes to law enforcement. When you've seen the videos on TikTok, when you've seen the videos on YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is, how some of the police officers conduct themselves when it comes to people and their rights and everything like that. Like I said, I advocate for the police. I feel for them. I understand their pain. To me, in a way, they're kind of like I guess without saying it, it sounds so mean, they're kind of like the stepchild of the military, where they're asked to go out and enforce all these different things, and sometimes people don't understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, and they get upset and they want to do the pushback. I get that. Military, I think, gets it a lot worse because honestly, no one knows what we're doing half the time. And I'd be honest with you, majority of the time, we don't even know what the heck we're doing. We just get orders, we go, we do it. For the police force, the lawmen, law women, it is difficult. Like I said, I feel for you and I support you guys, but there needs to be a better way for them to police themselves, to where there aren't so many issues and people don't feel this way. And hearing cases like this where someone's coming to you and they're coming for help, but then now you're treated like you're the criminal, why report anything ever? So I implore you, please go watch the Netflix series American Nightmare, the real life Gone Girl story of Denise Huskins. Watch it. Really see what's going on with this case. There's a couple other cases I need to reach out to Ace about, talking about that's going on now in current events, that something else I would like to talk about, and it kind of goes along with this same thing, but there's some other things that go along with it, but it is what it is. Okay, so what we're going to do, we got to roughly about, say about 3 minutes until the end of the show. So, Britt, why don't you give us your closing remarks? We'll go to Ace, and then we'll finish up here.
I mean, like you said, the part that sticks out the most is the horrible way that the police and the FBI both conducted their investigation, or their lack of investigation. They got tunnel vision right from the very bat. They were after him, going as far as telling him he has lost all respect from his family and his loved ones now because he did something to her and they would never find the body. And then when they didn't get their way and it wasn't him, they went to her because why wouldn't she? And I do quote, hold on, I have a quote from him on that. Basically, I'm not going to quote it because I can't find the quote in here. Here it is. When a prior SA victim happens, they want to relive it for the attention. So, I mean, just all around how they did that, how they did not look into a single bit of evidence that did not come down to him and her committing this. There was nothing until it was finally thrown back in their face and they could not get around it. So none of this had to happen. She's like, I do believe Brian was the one who pointed out, she's still getting harassed on the internet today by something. I mean, she was the victim, okay? Or they, in this instance, were the victims. And then after such a horrible event, they were traumatized even more by the police and by the FBI. All around, it was horrible.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Ace, what are your closing remarks for us, sir?
For me to call what went on in Vallejo an investigation would be me bold-faced lying to everyone. because it wasn't an investigation. It was a gross neglect of job performance. Like Britt said, the police department got tunnel vision right from the get-go. And they ran with that the entire time. Even whenever she got out. They questioned, why would somebody just let you go? And it's a travesty that these two people had to go through something like this because of a stereotype that officers put on people.
Yeah, I'm right there with both of you. This was just a shameful thing that happened from start to finish. And it's crazy because there were so many different pieces of this, and in this case, kind of, especially when you watch the Netflix series, it kind of just reinforces some issues I have when it comes to law enforcement in general. Is that no one talks to each other. No one really reaches out. If they have a case, it's kind of crazy. Like, oh, I have this, string of robberies, or I have this string of you know, peeping toms, or just they don't reach out to each other. Like, we haven't caught this guy. Hey, I wonder if there's any other investigations going on in other jurisdictions that are similar. It took one female detective to look at this case and then start reaching out to find out if there's any other, and then come to find out, she's like, oh, wait a minute, this happened here, this happened there. I talked to this person, they said, hey, did you hear about this case that was going on? And now she's piecing it together, and then even after she does all that, FBI still wasn't trying to hear it. Still wasn't trying to do anything. And that's what really it's sad about it, is that as taxpayers, we pay their salary. The only job they have to do is to protect and service. If someone calls for protection and service, do your job. Like Bill Belichick told the Patriots when he was, their championship years, and he's just, and they went on their championships. His message was, just do your job. You do your job, we win. It's the same message. Do your job. You know what I'm saying? Investigate. If you need to investigate. Help the people out, for crying out loud. That's all I gotta say, because I don't want to get too much into it. Ace, real quick, I know you're getting ready for trivia night. Why don't you go ahead and tell the people on our new platform, Squadcast, powered by the Script. Why don't you tell them people, lovely people out there, where you're at, what you're doing, and how they can find you.
I'm on TikTok. Yes. I know you guys didn't realize that, but I am on TikTok. I am on TikTok. I'm actually in the process of setting up my trivia night as it is. 8 p.m. Central Time every Wednesday, immediately following the podcast. You can find us on TikTok. Just do a search for Acehorfam, ACEHOREFAM, or myself personally. You can search for TLB dash or hyphen or dyphon. I like that. A dyphon. ACE. So that's TLB dyphon ACE. And come join us. It's a hell of a good time, and I learn something new every week. Just how much of an idiot I am. But yeah, come join us. It's a really good time.
Yeah, you talk about that stuff, and that, like, I be remembering, like, I watch those shows, like, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Like Impossible Quiz, game shows like that. And I never feel good about myself after watching this stuff. Yeah, but like I said, once again, I want to thank Ace. I want to thank Britt. Britt, great job. fighting through those issues that we're having. Another great topic. I really appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to Legacy. You see the shirt behind me. That's from the Birdman show, which you can catch the beacons within Ace Horror's family. His profile, just go to the beacons, go down to Ace Horror. I want to say it's merchandise. Go down there and then scroll down and you can catch the Ace Horror frame. But also, in addition, if you haven't seen, I'm wearing a new shirt. It's this one right here. Okay. Now, the cool thing about this one didn't come from the Ace Horror merchandise Birdman show. This one came from a childhood friend of mine. He just started a company and he's doing the exact same thing. It came from it's now I'm gonna spell it out, but then I'm gonna pronounce it. It's PRWEAR printing. Okay, but it's pronounced prayer printing. He has his own company named Tyrone Henderson. You can catch him on Facebook at PREWEAR Printing LLC. He does phenomenal work. He did this shirt for me. He's planning on doing a couple bugs for the show as well. So Ace might be getting an early present. But he does mugs with ones that change colors when you put like hot and cold stuff in it. He does those. So he does a lot of different stuff. We're reaching out to him. Hey, he's going to be a sponsor of the show. Get some merchandise out to those involved with the show and everything like that. So I just wanted to promote him real quick. I wanted to thank him very much from the bottom of my heart. Like I said, Tyrone Henderson. We've been friends since, good God, I want to say third, fourth grade. But I am so thankful and I'm blessed knowing that he's doing well. And he's on a great path with his company doing what he's doing. If you want to catch this episode as well as past episodes of the Birdman Show, all you have to do is go to our YouTube channel, and you can go to by searching Birdman Show Podcast or typing in at Birdman Show Podcast 9643. You can catch us on our Spotify channel, which is Birdman Podcast. For all those past episodes, you can also join our Patreon page. Donate, become a member, catch bonus content like bloopers, all kind of other crazy stuff, because I be posting a lot of crazy stuff on there. But go to patreon.com/The Birdman Show. Once again, I want to thank my co-host. I want to thank Ace. I want to thank the lovely Britt for joining us. And I most definitely want to thank each and every one of you who are in the live studio audience and those who will be watching this in the future for joining us on this episode of The Birdman Show. We will be back next week, but don't forget tomorrow, The Birdman Show recap over on my TikTok profile. Go to Birdman Show to join in on that. That is tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time. We usually go roughly about 8 o'clock. But yeah, 6 p.m. Central Time. Join us for that. But the Birdman Show will be back for another episode next week, right here on Squadcast, powered by Descript, our new home. Next week, next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Time. Definitely come back. Definitely come see us. Take flight with your boy, the Birdman and the Birdman Show. We'll see you guys in the clouds. We out. Woo!